Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We are live. It is time for another live watch party. So happy you are here. We are going great. We're coming up to the end of Stranger Things. um, and obviously, what we are going to find out this coming week in regards to Stranger Things is pretty straight. Are they going to stick the landing? And I think we're going to have this answer basically this week. Does Stranger Things stick the landing? Because regardless of like the last episode, like you're going to know, is ultimately season 6 great? Is it really good? Um or is it fallen? Is it messed some things up? Is it what happened? Um OG Sonic. Hello. Almost done with season 5, volume 1. Good job, man. You're going to be on time. For the wrap up near the end of episode 3. It's been a while. Welcome to the watch party. Yes, welcome back. Welcome back to the watch party. By Athi. So OG Sonic, you've been making your way through Stranger Things for the first time. Let us know what you think here. Will is a lot more used here. Yeah. And you have more to go too, so we won't spoil, but yeah. Great show. There you go. Yeah, it is a good show. Um So, and like I'm saying, and the reason I'm saying this, like, we'll know whether they're sticking the landing this week is because Cobra Kai, you knew even before the last episode, like, this show has made it. Like, this show is it. Like, the last 3 episodes are really great. So when you get to the, um, what was it? 11, 12, episode 13, where he gets married, the baby's born. Episode 14, where Miguel and Tori have their wins. Like, it's kind of rocking, right? Like, at this point, like, the show is pretty much hitting the landing. Obviously the last episode brings it home, but like, you knew it was working by episode 14. And I think what we're going to have here is pretty much the same. What do we have? We have 3 episodes coming this week. We're going to know if the show is kind of making it by the end of these 3 episodes, which isn't to say it's going to be wrapped up. Of course, we're going to have a big conclusion on New Year's Eve, but we're going to know, like, is stuff coming together? Is stuff finally making sense? Is it like, wow, it's all kind of coming together in a way in which the Duffer Brothers have claimed will happen in regards to things like the Upside Down and stuff. So, there's a lot there. Like, and so we're going to have that, I don't want to say confirmation, but like, you're going to know basically the final verdict. Now, like, another example, like Game of Thrones, right? Game of Thrones was going off track. For those who don't remember, in that very final season, the final, like, 6 episodes, it was like, yeah, like, it was 6 episodes technically was the final season. The first 2 were still pretty good. Like people were hopeful for the first 2. I mean, and probably the best actually of the last season was the second episode. Where Jamie crowned Brienne and stuff. So, but then you got like the next 2, and everything just started falling apart. And so by the time you were getting into the last episode, everyone knew this show's a disaster. So like, you basically know the end verdict before you get to the end, Um, in Cobra Kai, we still had Johnny's final match with Wolf, which was great, but like we knew that the show is hitting the notes, it's making it the points it need to make. It's doing everything it can to be like an epic conclusion. And we're gonna get that. So we're gonna get that from Stranger Things this week. Basically, you're getting what there's 4 episodes left. We're gonna get 3 of them. We're basically gonna have the verdict on the series as a whole. Like you could probably confidently say, like, obviously we won't know how it ends. We don't know the ending, but we're gonna have like the verdict. Is this good? Has this 9-year journey been worth it? Stranger Things started before Cobra Kai, ends after Cobra Kai, and has 1 fewer season. um, is he gay? Apparently, some people say that. I don't know until I rewatch. Um, it's maybe a little implied, not necessarily overt. Big fan of Will this season compared to other seasons. Yeah, I mean, right. One of the big complaints is Will never had much to do, but he gets stuff to do, as you can see. Some arc on that he's like Mike, but Mike doesn't feel the same way. That he likes Mike. Yes, that was some of the stuff going around season 4. Exogen is a really good episode. Feels like a movie. Cobra Kai finale was incredible. Nothing left unanswered. Not sure about Stranger Things for that matter, however. Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, yeah. Good comment. And that's what we're gonna know. We're gonna know you know, the lead up, Yeah, like I said, you got 2 good examples of like it working and not working. Cobra Kai is where everything works. By the time you get to the penultimate episode and you finish that, which was to say episode 14, you knew the show was working. You knew it was going out on a bang. Everything was working. The journey was worth it. You just knew it. On contrast, um, Game of Thrones final season started falling apart like really bad. And by the time you finished that penultimate episode, everyone had turned into mocking it and just battering it and laughing at it. I mean, it happened really fast, to be honest with you. Because like I said, the second episode was actually really good. People were still hyped after the first 2, but then episodes 3 was like first people were excited and then they were like, I don't get it. And then episode 4 was a clusterfuck, an absolute clusterfuck. And then like episode 5 just like was so much worse. And then you got to like episode 6. Do the Duffers know the big 3? Have they worked together? Well, they certainly haven't worked together. I do tend to suspect just through, osmosis. If you got a big show on Netflix, you're aware of the other big shows. Like, and especially because there's a lot of 80s stuff, I'm certain, they've crossed paths and stuff. So yeah. So I mean, yeah, like through osmosis at the very least. They're both by the way, it's actually worth noting. There was a little bit of crossover. So they both shot in Atlanta and they would even shoot it in Atlanta at the same time. And Hito Koda, well, in Janelle, but specifically Hito was hired in season 3 Stranger Things. He was the stunt coordinator, right? Like So he was actually doing stunts for Stranger Things and Cobra Kai, even somewhat simultaneously. So he, I don't. Let me hold on a second, guys. Um, so there is actually, I mean, they literally had the same stunt guy. Trying to, um, shit. No, there it is. Yeah, yeah. Okay, Hito did stunts for season 5 too. Stranger Things. So yeah, second unit director stunts. Um, so yeah, they had actually the same stunt coordinator. I actually at least partially suspect Hito was replaced in season 4 on Cobra Kai. I think um because they were shooting season 4 of Cobra Kai when they were shooting season 4 of Stranger Things. And I kind of wondered if John, Josh, and Hayden at least partially thought like the split would be too much for him. I mean, I certainly think he thought he could do it, but I don't know. I'm not saying that that's just a little random speculation, but yeah. But yeah, so they actually have the same stunt coordinator, Hito Koda, or Hito did seasons 1, 2, and 3 of Cobra Kai. Here, let me show you. Um, see, see if you remember Hito. I mean, look right at it. It's known for Stranger Things, Cobra Kai. Um, so yeah, second unit. I mean, mostly, but the second unit in this case is like the stunt crew and stuff. He did a lot of stunt shooting. Um, so up till supervising stunt coordinator. Yeah. So so yeah, there's definitely some crossover. So just by virtue of Hito, they knew. And in effect, a lot of the stunt people you can see, like a lot of the stunt actors from seasons 2 and 3, like show up in Stranger Things too. He hires, they hire the same stunt people. Um, Duffer Brothers were recently on Jimmy Fallon. They had Steve's figure fall off the desk. Some people think they're messing with us with Steve's death. Um, could be. Steve may be one who can die. If Jonathan and Nancy stay together. Didn't they also put 11 in water? I'm not sure what you're asking. I'm sorry. I mean, Elle's been in water a lot. Mike and Elle end up together, man. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Both seasons are supposed to come out much earlier. Yeah. What's your opinion on Stranger Things couples? Okay, good question. Um, um, well, yeah, Mike and Elle will end up together. I mean, I think they're obvious. Another, Joyce and Hopper, right? They were like a high school couple, broke up for whatever reason, went their other ways, had kids, um, kind of back together. So Joyce and Hopper are obvious. Now the love triangle, Nancy, Mike, Not Nancy, Mike. No, Nancy, Josh, and Steve. Between them, there needs to be a um, a resolution. Some people think, seeing the engagement ring that Josh has is a sign um, that maybe, hey, like um, maybe he's gonna die. Um, which may be, I mean, like set it up for it to fall down, or maybe she picks Steve, setting Josh up for a fall. Um, then there's what else? There's Lucas and Max. Obviously, Max has been in the hospital for a year and a half, but Lucas still plays the music for her. So so I think they're good. So really the biggest question is where Nancy ends up. Um, all the others. Oh, what's her name? The girl Robin likes from the hospital. Yeah, I think she may die. But that's like one that may die. A lot of like silly stuff. Like well, like the Mike and Will stuff was never going to happen. It's a game of D&D. Yeah, that theory's been around forever, but that's not really a good theory. That's not how it's gonna go. Chrissy deserved better. I think she was one of the most likable characters of season 4. Felt bad when she died. Yeah, for basically a 1-episode character. Dexter had a bad final season. Yeah, I think I heard that. Osmosis, diffusion. One or the others. Both. Like, why not both? It could be both. One of the best scenes of the show is when Billy hit on Karen. That scene radiated hella Quan aura vibes. If you're well dressed and groomed enough, would approaching a girl like that work? um, I mean, a little bit. Like, wasn't he at the wasn't that the swimming pool at the time? Um, or are you saying like when he showed up at her house? But but yeah, if you got the aura, right? Aura vibes. You got to have the aura. Without the aura, it doesn't work. And a lot goes into the aura. You just can't snap your finger, boys. You can't like watch a YouTube video and say, "Oh, now I'll have the aura." I saw someone online complaining about that scene, totally missing that like Karen turns him down. I think they handled Nancy, Jonathan, Steve love triangle really bad. Season 4 was just all Stancy while Jonathan and Nancy were still together. Yes. But that was part of the point. Like they were cross country, they weren't seeing each other. Um, what is it? Like, why didn't she want to go see him? What's quite going on? Felt forced in your face. On the other hand, Lucas and Max are a great couple. Looking forward to their scenes. Okay. Well, I would say Mike and 11. Um, they're kind of the heart of the show. Certainly that's how it started. I think one of the problems with season 2 is actually Elle is, gone. She was hiding in season 2, And so a lot of that charm from season 1, the Mike and Elle charm, was actually missing. To me, that's kind of what's missing from season 2. But yeah. They casted an actor in the last episode to be Will's love interest. Well, maybe. Maybe. They all live happily ever after, though. Started a new job as an electrician. Not bad. Foreman gave me the nickname Culito. Does anyone know what it means? I googled it. It says it means ass, but I don't know if that's true. Not really on topic, but I did in the past few months. Did you ever ask your foreman, "Hey, what does culito even mean?" Little ass or small buttocks? No, it means little ass, not just ass. You're a little ass. Thank you, Coke Benny, for your contribution. Weird. Not this swimming pool, a house. Does it seem like there's a winner in the Nancy, Jonathan, Steve love triangle? Steve and Jonathan both want Nancy, and Nancy doesn't know what she wants. Yeah. I think Nancy and Steve are better together. I'm just gonna call it. Like I'm not predicting per se they end up together, but I think like they were a good couple. And if you go back to season 2, like why did they break up? Like Nancy was really kind of going through shit. Like she felt really responsible for Barb's death. Like they were trying to spend time with Barb's family and stuff like that. And Nancy just couldn't deal with it, didn't know how. Like, I mean, Steve didn't know Barb, but Steve was a little bit better at just getting back to normal, and Nancy couldn't. And that's kind of what drove them apart. But now they're at this point where they're together. They're both have been through, multiple seasons of the Stranger Things, so to speak. They're both fully in it now. They're both in the same spot now. In season 2 they weren't. But now they really are. Like, so now it's like the reason that they were apart, broke up, fell through. And really, what does Nancy and Jonathan have? Like Jonathan took up smoking pot in California, seemed to, was kind of like that. So, I don't see it's like Jonathan was smoking pot with Argyle and stuff like that, while Nancy was always like the hard at work at the, newspaper and stuff. I have a feeling Joseph's plan to kill Vecna is not going to go well. Probably not. Imagine the key really is extreme confidence, which Billy has. If he wasn't confident, it would come off as creepy. Yeah. And the confidence radiates through what he's wearing. Every part of it. Oh, they got to have looks too, especially if you're gonna hit on like a middle-aged mother, like with kids, middle-aged married woman, with kids. So yeah, that was basically an alien immigrant from the woods, and Mike decided to kiss her like 2 days after they met. Well, more like a week, but yeah. Actually, Elle, by the way, if you didn't know, season 1, 11 is kind of them finding 11. It's actually kind of based on E.T., the show, the movie. Um, and there was supposed to be, a lot of beats that was like E.T. So I don't know if you actually did that deliberately or accidentally, like an alien. but yeah, she was actually based on E.T. I think um Millie Bobby Brown said they had her she watched E.T. to get an idea of like what they were going for. Where the boys like hide E.T. and stuff, and he has powers. It's been a while since I joined one of your lives. Cobra Kai never dies. No, it doesn't. Um, we're just asking, is Stranger Things going to be able to stick the landing the way Cobra Kai did? And we'll know this week, like as I was explaining at the beginning of the live. Basically you'll know coming up to the last episode. You may have seen, you don't have to have seen the last episode, but you basically know where it's going. Cobra Kai, by the time you finish episode 14, you knew the show was nailing it on every level. You've asked other electricians. Well, it means little butt, but it can be used in a vulgar or flirtatious way. So they're either flirting with you or they're being vulgar, I guess. I low-key think Steve deserves better than Nancy. I see her best single, which is weird considering she's never been singer. Yeah, she really hasn't been single much at all. It's true. Does Steve deserve better than Nancy? Maybe. Steve is a little bit of a slacker, but he has potential. He's always had potential. But I think they're one of those things they've been through so much. Like they just end up together. Nancy has better chemistry with Jonathan. Yeah. But I think that's because if you think of it in terms of like a ladder scale, like Jonathan is kind of dating up, getting Nancy. It was kind of almost a fluke. It was the events put them together. They would have never been together. As we even kind of saw in season 1. Like Nancy might have been dating up with Steve. Steve is like the hunk, the popular guy. I don't know. He didn't quite have a life plan, but his dad apparently is like a pretty wealthy lawyer, which is why like Steve actually drives like a nice car or something, or he has a car, jobs and stuff. So if you think of it like Jonathan's dating up to date Nancy, but Nancy's dating up when she's dating Steve. Is Nancy like the Sam of Stranger Things? Well, OG Sonic, you should know. Some guys like fans of the channel before I ever watched Stranger Things, like back in 2019, were saying just that. Yeah, Nancy's just like the Sam. I don't think they're the same. I think it's a bad comparison. I think they're very different people. I think a couple people get caught up on a few things, like the way Nancy went from Steve to Jonathan and made more out of it than it was. They're not the same. So like I said, like Nancy had a lot of weird shit going on. Like it was like she had a lot of weird shit going on. Sam didn't, not really. What season do you think Sam had the best character arc? Like I liked parts of 4, but it was cut short. 5 was dumb. Honestly, probably just 6. I think we saw Sam in her best element in season 6. Um, Season 1 to 3, Jonathan might have had it hardest. He deserved to smoke weed in the start of season 4, not gonna lie. But they kind of dumped his character arc from season 3. Yeah, they did. You can just say he got back into reality, had to deal with the real world. As much as you love Coca, I'm going with Stranger Things. Cobra Kai's season was just a big letdown. Chosen Venduro. Okay. Well, they're a big letdown. When Cobra Kai 6 was coming out, it was my favorite show. Now that it's Stranger Things season 5, it might be my favorite. Well, yeah, you're not alone. Most people, um, most people, it's like your favorite show is the one you're watching now. Um, but remember those memories. You watched it, enjoyed it. Um, but that's fine. That's fine. I think the Mind Flayer is the final villain. They've been teasing it for a while. Um, yeah, we'll see how it all shapes up. Maybe Vecna dies in this part 2. Lucas and Max are the hardest show, and we will see that in volume 2. Definitely there was a lot of that in season 4, and that really carried season 4. And obviously we're getting it a little in season 5 that Lucas is still at Max's side or something. I feel like Cobra Kai's ending was predictable. Stranger Things might be very hard to predict. Um, I would agree. I don't think Stranger Things is that hard to predict, though. Somehow they're going to defeat Vecna and the Mind Flayer and maybe permanently seal the Upside Down and be able to live out in harmony. Wild Man Beyond. Despite I love Cobra Kai, I have a feeling Stranger Things will have a bigger, better finale. Well, yeah. Um they're aided in that they have like more time and money because they can do, I mean, what is it? Is it gonna be like 2.5 hours or something? So yeah. Bigger if they do that crossover. You already knew Cobra Kai was gonna win this guy to guy. Who's your favorite characters in Stranger Things? Give a top 5. Um, let's see. I like Mike L. I'm not sure this is in any order, but to make it 5, Mike L, Max, Joyce, and Murray. Yeah, Murray. Not necessarily in that order, but I would give those 5. Henry had that look on his face when he was looking at Max because I guess he saw something in her that scared him. Maybe she has powers. Or it's something about the cave. But I predicted Max having powers long ago. Sam and Nancy are both hella privileged, but Sam felt a bit tone deaf in early seasons, whereas Nancy didn't. I mean, Nancy got a job pursuing newspaper. Yeah. I mean, Nancy certainly has done a lot more than Sam. I feel like Max will have an iconic arc at the end of this finale, especially in volume 2. Yeah, I mean, I put out a video on it partially. Um like Max is definitely going to be like um oh, what is Max? Like she's going to be with the kids and they're going to do something inside Vecna's mind for sure. And whether they have communication with the outside or not, I'm not entirely sure. But they're going to do something inside his mind, communicate about the thing, and I think Callie will be part of that. Do you think Lucas will read Max's letter in Volume 2 and Season? I've been wondering that. It was always there. Um, they haven't referenced it, so it would be interesting if he did. I thought Mike and 11 wasn't hard. Matt Moore's here. Do you think Vecna will target Mike, considering the fact that Will and 11 loves Mike? Perhaps. But I think Vecna's looking at the immediate threats, and the immediate threat isn't necessarily Mike. Bias to Cobra Kai. Yeah. Yeah, me too. Hope the Mind Flayer isn't the main villain. It's literally just a giant shadow with no personality. Yeah. You run into that problem. Weirdly, they had that problem with Lord of the Rings. How do you make Sauron the main villain? It's weird. He's just like an eye. Let's see. Debating what's the main villain. Mind Flayer already existed before Henry became Vecna. Yeah. Was the Mind Flayer responsible for changing him into Vecna? Also, the Mind Flayer also gave Henry Vecna form. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Stranger Things is one of the few characters that outside season one, there aren't many unlikable characters. I guess Lucas was terrible to 11 though. Yeah, but he had his reasons. I mean, it always makes sense. Um, that's true. I mean, any unlikable character like the basketball team and such, are very deliberately written that way. Maybe almost a little over the top. Um, I hope you still do that. Stranger Things versus Cobra Kai debate video. Yeah. No shot. They leave the Max letters untouched. I hope Lucas reads them to Max when she's in her coma, maybe because Lucas thinks he might die. Yeah. Steve's friend from season 1 was awful. Man, I barely even remember him. Vecna is a much better villain than the Mind Flayer, which is why I prefer season 4 to seasons 2 and 3, where the villains were like Russians and Demogorgons. Yeah, I kind of agree. I think like Vecna puts a face on it. He has his own backstory that makes sense. Like, yeah, so like Vecna is like definitely like a much stronger villain in the sense of like, as an audience you can grasp it, you can understand it, you get what he means, you get what he's about. um you understand the threat, you like know what he can do. So Vecna is a better villain, but Mind Flayer is the main villain. Could be. Maybe they fight them together, who knows. but like it could be like, what if Vecna destroys the Mind Flayer and then becomes the main villain? I don't know what'll happen, but like what's the plan here? Like, does Vecna want to take over for himself? Does he want to take over for the Mind Flayer? Like, what's he doing? Like, um, so yeah, like, so that's actually maybe one way it would go. I don't know. I don't agree with Vecna switching sides at all. He's just a terrible person, as Henry Creel. Well, he's not switching sides. That's not switching sides. Sometimes one bad guy destroys the other bad guy, so he could be the main bad guy. It's a thing. If the Prince rumors are true, I think Lucas is at the hospital with the boombox playing Purple Rain for Max to wake up. Purple Rain. Yeah, everyone's been talking about this. Henry Creel is a horrible person because the Mind Flayer took control of him. Interesting. Hold on. Yeah, maybe the Mind Flayer was controlling Henry Creel the whole time, or almost the whole time. Henry Creel has no connection to the Mind Flayer. Well, it was something about spiders, and the Mind Flayers always kind of looked like a spider. So, like, that's like a thing, right? The spiders and the Mind Flayer and blah, blah, blah. Linda Hamilton's character is pretty unlikable. Yeah, but she's meant to be unlikable, right? Like, I mean, like, kind of like straight up villain characters. So, like, any character that's like a straight up villain character, antagonist, is always like unlikable. So I'm glad that Johnny got his redemption in season 6 in the Sekai Tekai. Yeah, for sure. And he became something Daniel LaRusso never was. He became a world champion. Who do you think had the saddest story? Either Victor Creel or Eddie Munson? Well, and Victor Creel's is sad in the sense that he lived and had to live with everything that happened. I mean, what is his life the past 30 some years or however long? Like, his life has just been misery day in, day out, right? Like, that's sad. And he died young, but he died with purpose. He absolutely was doing something that needed to be done. He did it for um, actually people he had only really just kind of just met somewhat, and he wanted to be brave, and he was. Um, so I guess in terms of sad, I would say Victor Creel, because it's the thought of living with it all. That Henry is scared of the cave because behind the cave is where he met the Mind Flayer for the first time, as Henry Creel before it took over. I don't know. That doesn't really make sense. Like, especially if on some level he's working with the Mind Flayer is controlling him or whatever. No, it's got to be something else. Um, Kate Bush is the real villain of Stranger Things. Yeah, she's a hero turned villain. She was a hero back in season 4, was all the rage. But people have gotten kind of tired of it. You know, we've gotten a lot more here in season 5, and some people are just like, okay, can we move on now? So I can't really blame them. It is, maybe it's been time to move on. Henry Creel is not the same as 001. Interesting. Prince rumors are true. Theories Max will have powers, and she'll use the song Little Red Corvette to defeat Vecna in the fight. Little Red Corvette, Max has red hair. That's like a hell of a specific theory. You're calling the exact specific song. The funny thing is Max seems the least likely to confront Vecna at this point. Um, so yeah. Max getting powers doesn't really make sense. They can't just be giving anyone powers. Yeah, I at one point I was wondering sure if she would get powers from being in his mind. I no longer think that's the case after seeing what we have. I think the people with powers are the ones we have. So so I don't think Max is getting powers. Um but I think she can do things inside his mind because they're in his mind. Hopefully Max escapes through Lucas's words and not Kate Bush. Yeah, I definitely don't think it's going to be Kate Bush. It's going to be something else. Yeah, learn more about the Upside Down. Um, yeah, it's about time. So, who's the better character in Karate Kid, Daniel or Johnny? Um, well, in the movie, Daniel. If the rumors are true and they play more than once per song, he'll be the hero this season, like Eddie and Kate Bush. Oh boy, people are really pumping this Prince stuff. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Have to go. Good night. Good night. Depending, we may be back maybe the day after Christmas or something. We'll do a live to talk Stranger Things. We'll see. Maybe. Um yeah, would have wish I had been able to build up a bit more of a following here, but I don't know. I'm just this way. 3 a.m. in the UK. Ho ho. All right. Cheers. That's what they say in the UK. Cheers. We'll see you back. Have a happy Christmas. Fuck Kate Bush. We want Prince. Yeah. But potentially the 26th I come in for a live stream. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe in the evening. Um and we'll do some stuff. I think we'll all enjoy that. But a lot of talk. There's a lot going on. Um, there's a lot going on. Oh, by the way, I mean, let me see. Hold on. They put out a short scene. What are they? Hold on. Sorry, guys. Let me do this. Um,
But I saved you just in time.
so they put out this short scene with the kids from Holly's class. So obviously these are all the kids Vecna was going after. He eventually got them. They were trying to save them, but he got them. And there's Henry. He brings Holly's here, hugging her friend. But we also know Holly's now pretending. And so like he's there, Max is watching from the distance. And he tells the kids to obviously don't go in the forest. And what's interesting is, but their parents may not be joining them. So it's kind of a good scene. Joyce is a good mom. The world would be a better place if moms like Joyce were common. Yeah. I think like Joyce is kind of the fun one in the sense that like every season she's doing something really crazy. She looks crazy. They've done a really good job at that. But like, of course, we, the audience, know she's actually not crazy and she's real. You know, she's correct. And Dad's like Hopper. Yes, that's what we need. Cobra Kai. Let's go crazy in the final play. You're just going through the list of all the Prince songs at this point. Just going through the list. It's interesting that this scope is actually from Holly. The heroes combine their powers and forming George Michael and Wham. They hit Vecna with Jitterbug. Wake me up before you go. Oh man, Matt is really rubbing it in here. Wake me up before you go. Maybe they come out with some sort of what's like a bad 80s song? When did that come out? Oh, 1991. Oh shit. I was thinking Achy Breaky Heart by Billy Ray Cyrus. But that came out in 91. Damn. I was hoping it was a hey Mikey, you're so fun. I guess you know the bad ones. Hey Mikey, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my... Or, hey, Mickey. Or, hey, Mickey. Or, hey, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my... Or, hey, Mickey. 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 Or, hey, Released in 82. Okay. Or the most well-known version. Well, there you go. That Max is using Holly as a spy. Yeah. Yeah, I think um it's definitely I think it's going to make good scenes with Holly. Kind of like if you remember season 2 of Game of Thrones when Arya was in with Tywin Lannister and stuff. Like really good intense scenes. I think we'll get some of those with Holly too. Cuz Holly doesn't fully know what's at stake here. But I think she knows something's up. So Henry's calling Max a monster. I don't think we're okay. So right here, where where the monsters live, you will be safe here. In the forest. I don't think he's saying that Max is a monster. He's using the concept of monsters to scare them, especially with what was going on with them in Hawkins, right? Like, in fact, some of them might have even seen the monsters. They saw Demogorgons and stuff. Like they saw Demogorgons. So what's the matter? So like if they see those, then when he says monsters, they're thinking of the Demogorgons. They're thinking of the stuff that was going on in Hawkins. That's what they're thinking of. He's not really referring to Max. He's just trying to keep them in. It's a scare tactic, not necessarily like a description of Max. If it wasn't haunted, you'd live in the Creel house. Yeah, the problem is any haunted mansion, like it just looks uncomfortable. Like look at this couch right here. Honestly, that couch doesn't look like a good couch. Like I'm not impressed by that couch. Most of the stuff. Like if a house, like I think one of the defining characteristics of any haunted house is like everything is uncomfortable. I mean, it's an okay chair, but like that's not like a chair you want to lounge in. They're all just sitting on the rug. Like it's not great. You know what I mean?
To know the truth.
Know the truth. And then it cuts out. So we don't know what the truth is.
But I believe.
Beautiful wood floors. Yeah. Kind of agree. Get rid of the carpet even. I mean, the entry hall's fine. Like random dishes, like in a random spot. Like, what is this? Like you're building a home. You just like put a ledge here by the staircase. I guess so.
Now I know.
Oh well. It all looks good. It all looks good. So glad you're all here. Yeah, guys. What it comes out Christmas or something? We'll see. I don't know when I'll be able to watch. I'm going to be cooking and doing stuff, and I have family visiting and holidays. First Christmas as a married man, so a lot coming up. We'll let it go here. I'm going to get at least one more video out, maybe two. Hopefully tomorrow. It's almost written, so want to get some good stuff out for all of you. Try to keep the watch party going because, like Cobra Kai, the watch party never dies. So, thank you all for coming on in. I love you all. Thank you for being here. Have a great day. See you at the next watch party. Guys, have a Merry Christmas. From me to you, have a Merry Christmas. Love you all.